While some seafood-centric eateries fall short when it comes to red meat, others more than hold their own. From prime rib to tomahawks and beyond, here are the seafood chains that serve up some of the best steaks. Trulucks restaurant opened in 1992 and has grown into a chain with 12 locations. Its focus is on quality and sustainability when sourcing its seafood, and the franchise is committed to serving wild-caught fish and avoiding the poaching of endangered ocean species. Given this approach, it comes as no surprise that the same care and respect is taken when Trulucks sources its beef as well. Serving red meat of the same quality as its seafood is a priority for the franchise, and it starts with the cut of the beef itself.
I think I'm gonna have the steak.
In fact, the chefs at Trulucks double as skilled butchers. The chain is unique in that it butchers its own steaks in the kitchens of its dozen locations, serving up a whole other level of freshness to its meat-eating patrons. If this isn't enough to convince you to give a Trulucks New York strip or steak frites a shot, then the stellar reviews should do the trick. Best Steak Ever reads the title of one of these shining consumer appraisals. I am from Nebraska, where we know good beef, and we have good beef, but the steak at this place was the best I've ever had. Say no more. We're ready to place our order, Trulucks. In 1996, the first Bahama Breeze opened in Orlando, promising authentic Caribbean food and cocktails worthy of an island paradise. Fast forward to 2024, and you can dine on delicious jerk shrimp, glazed salmon, or seafood paella in whichever of its 44 locations you find yourself dining. And you can also expect to find churrasco-style steak on the menu. In a Reddit post titled Best Churrasco Steak in Orlando, there was a best steak battle between the local Bahama Breeze location and another Florida-based restaurant, Agave Azul. One user posted, "I've had this multiple times at both locations. Bahama Breeze beats Agave Azul in the skirt steak churrasco battle, hands down." This user's opinion of the chain's spiced and fired steak, which is often served alongside flavorful servings of rice, beans, chimichurri, or fried plantains, is shared by consumers across platforms. So you may want to consider adding this beef pick to your own personal to-try list. Legal Seafoods began in 1950 as a humble, family-owned Massachusetts fish market, serving the freshest ocean catches. In 1968, they opened a restaurant adjacent to the original market store. Since then, the brand has grown into a chain of 26 locations, located exclusively along the eastern seaboard of the United States. While best known for its clams, lobster bisque, calamari, oysters, or scallops, Legal's surf and turf steak menu is a very solid choice, according to consumers. One stellar TripAdvisor review reads, "Amazing filet mignon for a fish place. While I have always enjoyed the seafood here, my son prefers steak, so he bucked the trend, as usual, and ordered a filet mignon. He said it melted in his mouth."
I love meat, and I always will.
But if grilled fish steaks are more your speed, then the chain has you covered with a tuna steak that had another TripAdvisor user raving, writing, "Best tuna steak ever." McCormick and Schmicks started in Portland, Oregon, back in 1974, and unlike most restaurant chains, which tend to specialize in either seafood or steak, this chain has kept both land and sea proteins at its heart from the very beginning. So it comes as no surprise that customers rave about its red meat offerings across online platforms. One TripAdvisor user wrote, "I had the ribeye and my wife the salmon meals. They were cooked to perfection and absolutely delicious. My ribeye was cooked more medium rare than medium well as requested, but melt in the mouth with such glorious flavor." Their praise is echoed by additional consumers across sites such as Yelp and Facebook, convincing us that a steak at McCormick and Schmicks is more than a safe bet the next time you're stopping in for a bite to eat. The story behind the successful upscale seafood-focused chain restaurant known as Chart House is a modest one. Starting with a single, unassuming location in 1961, it has grown to a nationwide franchise, with each restaurant offering a stunning waterfront view, slamming seafood, and additional proteins like chicken and steak also on the menu. And while a New York strip or a filet mignon from the celebrated eatery is certainly a safe bet for an enjoyable meal, it's the company's prime rib that consistently earns high praise from Chart House diners. One Reddit review's title says it all, reading, 18 ounces of some of the best prime rib I've ever had from Chart House in Melbourne, Florida. This view was shared by multiple responders on the thread, one of whom said, "It was the best prime rib I have ever had. I can't wait till I go back." We found rave reviews on other platforms as well, so pardon us while we add the Chart House prime rib to our food bucket list. Pappadeaux Seafood Kitchen, a family-owned franchise that has been serving up gumbo, snapper, catfish, and crab since 1976, also offers filet mignon and aged ribeye options for its red meat-craving consumers. And if you were skeptical of this seafood chain's ability to whip up a decent steak, never fear. According to consumers who have sampled it, Pappadeaux beef is absolutely unforgettable, in a good way.
Steak night!
A shining review on TripAdvisor reads, "The best ribeye steak that I have ever had." The poster goes on to describe a flavorful steak seared to perfection. Further evidence of the quality of Pappadeaux beef appears in a 2023 post on the company's official Facebook page, below a photograph of a mouth-watering steak sitting beside a baked potato on a plate. One commenter wrote, "Years ago, my mom ordered the ribeye at the Pappadeaux in Albuquerque and said it was the best ribeye she'd ever eaten." Pretty incredible praise, and definitely enough to convince us to expand our culinary horizons beyond the restaurant's fish dishes the next time we're debating what to order from Pappadeaux. The first Ocean Prime opened in Michigan in 2008, and the upscale chain now has locations in cities including Boston, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, and more. Ocean Prime specializes in savory seafood, creative, refreshing drinks, and, you guessed it, juicy steaks. Although there are ample oysters, crab legs, tartare, and spicy tuna rolls to be found on the franchise's menus, there are also filet mignons, bone-in fillets, or New York strips available to pair with a signature cocktail or a glass of smooth red wine at dinner time. Thankfully, Ocean Prime's beef menu doesn't disappoint. Reviewers across platforms such as Reddit and TripAdvisor all declare not only the superiority of Ocean Prime seafood, but of its seared steak offerings as well, with consistent praise including words like excellent and fantastic used to reference the chain's steaks. It's clear that this fish house can cook up a pretty mean slab of meat. You might be wondering what happened to Cousins Maine Lobster from Shark Tank.
We get our lobsters from shore to door in less than 24 hours.
The company got its big break on the hit reality TV show and now has a slew of food trucks and restaurants under its belt, along with an online seafood-to-order catalog. While its sit-down locations and kitchens on wheels serve up ocean-forward delicacies like lobster tacos, lobster grilled cheeses, crab rolls, or clam chowders, they don't serve steak. However, Cousins Maine does offer up some incredible cuts of beef via its online-to-order food catalog for those who prefer to cook and dine at home, along with the option for wild-caught, delivered-to-your-doorstep live lobsters or sample packs of fresh scallops. There are also 8-ounce beef tenderloins available for delivery via the Cousins Maine website. The steaks are available as solo 2-packs of fillets or alongside a couple lobsters with the company's Surf and Turf family bundles. But whichever selection you opt for, the beef is a total slam dunk according to online reviewers. And it's not hard to believe when one considers the company's assurance as to the meat's origins. The cattle from which the steaks are sourced are local to Maine, exclusively grass-fed, and free of any hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. Happy cows certainly make for good quality steaks. It's just science. 24 years ago in Florida, 2 men named Chris Parker and Tim Kersey opened the first Bonefish Grill. As the name suggests, the heart of its business model was frying up fresh fish, and these days the restaurant is 167 locations strong, popping up in a bit over half of the states in the country. With a deep understanding of the epic pairing of steak and seafood, Bonefish Grill offers multiple red meat dishes on its menu, perhaps the most celebrated of which is a riff on an Eggs Benedict with filet mignon. The filet mignon and lobster Eggs Benedict is made with 2 English muffins, one topped with rich lobster meat, the other with a cut of seared steak. Both are finished with a perfect, ready-to-be-popped poached egg, and the result is an effortless, elevated take on the classic surf and turf flavor combination. Bonefish customers have shown a lot of love for this particular dish. After just one bite, a YouTube reviewer boldly, and perhaps controversially, declared, "Filet mignons should always be on Benedicts." Another steak dish worth sampling from Bonefish is its sirloin and shrimp platter, which once again harnesses the made-in-heaven flavor mashup of surf and turf together on a plate. Whichever dish you go with, there's a high probability that you'll have a great steak experience at Bonefish Grill. Eddie V's Prime Seafood is a fine dining restaurant chain with a total of 30 locations across 13 states. Its menu is impressive, offering distinctive from-the-sea dishes like the shellfish tower, tableside steak tartare, Chilean sea bass, or South African lobster, with an entire section of its menu also dedicated to steak dishes, such as the 22-ounce prime bone-in ribeye or the 18-ounce New York strip with chili rub. The consumer has plenty of choices when they find themselves craving red meat at Eddie V's.
I need meat.
Diners won't be disappointed when it comes to taste either. The seafood chain's filet mignon and tomahawk steak dishes in particular have been praised by patrons across the board. Comments range from outstanding on Yelp to a product-specific review on TripAdvisor titled, "The tomahawk steak was crazy." Taking that into account, ordering steak at Eddie V's Prime Seafood appears to be not only a safe bet, but an advantageous one. Seeing as the chain's red meat has the potential to make your taste buds sing, what is there to stand in your way when it comes to trying one? We know, the largest seafood chain in the United States isn't without its faults, but hear us out. Red Lobster, known best for its famous cheddar biscuits, often finds itself at the center of consumer debate. Eaters frequently appear split on issues such as the quality or taste of the restaurant's products, but one aspect of Red Lobster's menu brings such a surprising amount of positive buzz that it deserves a mention. According to a number of consumers who have tasted it, the steak coming out of the kitchen at Red Lobster is quite delicious, making us think it might be worth a try.
Steak? Did you say steak?
Despite the questionable opinions regarding some of its seafood, Red Lobster's steaks are frequently called out on platforms such as TripAdvisor, YouTube, or Reddit for being, yes, excellent. Best Steak reads the title of one of these online reviews. The poster goes on to write, yes, you read it right. Red Lobster has unbelievably delicious steaks. So good, in fact, that it is one of my 2 preferred steak destinations. Melt in your mouth, tender, juicy, deliciously seasoned, and cooked to perfection. You just can't beat it. Give them a try. You won't be disappointed. All that being said, this opinion is hardly universal. There is a percentage of diners who have had decidedly less positive experiences with their meat from Red Lobster. So if you do decide to go for it with a beef order, we hope your experience is good and tasty.